so, I think this way I ended the types of love. And now I'm going to talk about unconditional love. What is unconditional love? It is the one that, as I have said here so many times, he doesn't judge, he doesn't criticize, he doesn't ask for anything, he doesn't bargain, he doesn't force himself, he doesn't humiliate himself, he doesn't impose his will, he doesn't superior himself, he doesn't think he's the center of the universe before others. And I would stay here talking for an entire video, explaining what unconditional love is. Many here have asked me how to practice unconditional love in this ugly world that you live in the third dimension. I would really need you to be apart, like hermits in the mountains. Easy, right? Very easy. I move away from everything and everyone and live unconditional love. With whom? They became a hermit on the mountain, and said, "Ah, I love everyone equally." Interesting. It's easy to say, isn't it? Now I want to see you, living your day-to-day life, living with all the violence and evil that you see, practice unconditional love, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So what does it mean to experience unconditional love within the third dimension? I've already explained it here, but I'll explain it again. It's always good, it's about trying to change your habits. This is the first point. When you look at someone who is doing something wrong, don't criticize them, don't judge them. He's the one making the mistake, not you. So don't judge anyone. Don't be judge, prosecutor, and jury, or anyone's defense lawyer. You have to be concerned about your journey, not about the other person's journey. The walk, as the name suggests, belongs to the other. If he did one thing wrong, he will reap what he sowed. It's not you saying, "Ah, what nonsense this man did." Who are you to judge? Who are you? Is your soul perfect? Has your soul never done anything wrong? I already told you here that there are no perfect incarnated souls. If you were perfect souls, you would have already gone to the astral, you would no longer be incarnated, because they no longer need to live in this dimension to learn anything. So who are you to judge others, to point the finger, to say a bunch of nonsense to others, just because you don't agree with what they think? Who are you? So I would like to tell you that living unconditional love comes first. Put yourself first. So, it's not that the world will run according to your will, it's not that, but before you do anything you have to ask yourself, is this good for me and for the whole? If both answers are yes, then yes, you can do it. Now if you are going to do something for someone that you won't like very much, then don't do it, because you have to think, that you have to be well all the time. So you will please the other, but you will look bad. It's wrong. If it's not worth doing well, you'll have to say, "Look, I'm not going to do it because I don't agree with it. I do not want to do, and don't do it." Of course, my brothers, this is a generalized way of speaking. But, for example, you won't hear this from a child where you are educating, and she will say, "No, I won't do it." You have to sit down and talk to this child. Why are you telling her to do that? You have to have the power of conviction. This is educating, this is showing right and wrong, so that that child, when he becomes an individual, knows how to behave in society. So don't generalize everything I'm saying. I'm speaking in general terms. You always have to put yourself first. Is this good for me? Yes or no? Is this good for the whole? Yes or no? Effectively both answers have to be yes. And then you are respecting the first rule of unconditional love, love yourself. Second rule, said by Christ, love your neighbor as you would like to be loved. So don't do to others what you wouldn't want them to do to you. This is unconditional love, it's realizing that what you're doing is hurting someone else. So don't do it, because if you received that, you wouldn't like it. So do not do. Unconditional love is looking at a person and not judging them by their appearance, just because they are not that pretty or handsome. It's looking at that person and seeing that there is a being there, a soul, and a human consciousness. That outfit there doesn't say anything. It is accepting everyone equally, don't label anyone. Ah, rich and poor. He is poor due to circumstances, and he is rich, why is that? So don't label anyone. There is only one being in front of you, without labels. Then you already label it, ah, so and so is fat. So and so is ugly. So and so is boring. So and so is short. Everything you label, always for the negative. Rarely do you label for the positive. You place labels, because you have already seen that being, from your perspective, and then you label it. Don't label anyone. That soul is fulfilling its path. Ah, she is doing something wrong according to her understanding. Very good. Who will understand the wrong she is doing? It's not you, it's her. Now is she really doing it wrong, or is this a misconception you have? Or do you not want to admit that you think wrongly? So you judge her. She's wrong. You just judge. So my brothers, do not judge, do not criticize, don't point fingers, do not discriminate against anyone. Ah, because so and so is homosexual, it's no good. Why? Did his sexual orientation affect his character? Did it affect the person's way of thinking? He was wearing his clothes the way he wants, it's just an outfit. If the homosexual relationship is good for that person, it's his problem, not yours. If you don't agree, and you're heterosexual, fine, stick to your view and he sticks to his. He's not forcing you to be homosexual, is he? No, he respects you. Being straight, great, so respect him being homo. What problem? I've already said it here, this era, this incarnation, came to overturn many dogmas, many preconceptions. Many people are being discriminated against, why? Why this avalanche of souls, who in society are souls that should be fought, because they are outside the normal axis, why? Could it be because these souls have to learn a lot? Because in times past, they did the same thing to someone? Exactly, my brothers. On the other hand, I would say that you started to love the souls, not the clothes. So to love unconditionally first is to think about yourself, not selfishly. Careful. There is a fine line there. It's not thinking selfishly. Ah, I'm just going to think about myself, and then he does everything and hurts a lot of people. So that's where I said, the question is this good for me and for the whole? What is the whole? Those around you. You won't be hurting anyone by your attitude. This is not being selfish. Now the selfish thing is, I'm going to think only about myself. The rest be damned. This is the selfish one. To love unconditionally is to forgive. Exactly what I said a moment ago. That other person did something to you, you were hurt, you were sorry, very well. What lesson did you learn from what he did to you? Ah, he didn't learn any lessons. You just got angry, you were hurt, you suffered, you cried. What lesson did you learn from this? Because there's a lesson there. It's you who can't understand, because you're the poor thing. He did something to you. So you're the poor thing. So, before you get angry, hate, want to take revenge, want to hurt the one who hurt you too, stop and think, why did the other person do this to me? What did I emanate to him, for him to react that way? What did I emanate into the universe for the universe to return to me in this way? Because it was a return for something you did. But you don't think so. You already push that person away, crucify, judge and condemn them, because they hurt you. Why? Ask this question, what lesson is this hurt trying to tell me? So, loving unconditionally is asking this question, and understanding why the other person did that, and forgiving them. But it's that forgiveness from the bottom of your heart, it's not that oh, no, it's okay forgiveness, and the next day when you look at the person, ah, I can't stand so and so. So there was no forgiveness. You're still hurt by him. And then it will be much more difficult, because as you forgave so and so, he will think that you are back to the person you were before. Then you will become false. In front of him you stand, as if you had forgiven everything, he turns his back and you say, "No, I can stand it." Then the forgiveness was false, and you are being false. So this is unconditional love, it is thinking about yourself first, and thinking about the whole. Do something for yourself that is good for you and for the whole. Understand that everyone has a journey. You also hurt a lot of people, but you always felt entitled to it, because you were right. Who said? From your perspective, you were right. The other person may not have understood it that way, and was hurt by you. So be careful. Be careful what you do to each other, because what goes around comes around. If you do good, the good returns many times over. If you do evil, in the same way. Depending on the degree of evil, it comes back more and more intensified, so that you feel firsthand what you made the other person feel. So, to end this video today, loving unconditionally is, firstly, loving yourself, without selfishness. Love yourself and love the whole. Practice actions that are good for you and for the whole. Don't judge, don't criticize, don't condemn, don't discriminate, don't point the finger, don't speak ill, don't gossip, in relation to anyone. And then suddenly, if you find yourself doing this, take a deep breath, drink a glass of water. I already taught this here. Take a glass of water and ask that water to eliminate all those feelings that you emanated. Because you emanated. Then the regret was instantaneous, there's not even much time to hit the wall and come back. You regretted it from the bottom of your heart, so it was considered a first chance, which the universe is giving you. Now, if you repeat this 20 times a day, then the universe will understand that no, there is something wrong there. So when you realize that you have done something wrong, with yourself or with someone else, immediately ask for forgiveness. Ask yourself for forgiveness, apologize, it doesn't matter, and have a glass of water, and clear that feeling. And be ready to accept everything and everyone, because in a dimension where there is no middle ground, which exists here in Tercera, there is no power, there is no evil, there is no violence, there will only be love. Then there will be no way to hinder them. But you have to start learning to live this love, because there, if here you do it and the universe gives you back intensified, there you will be being evaluated. And it's like a little box, every time you step out of line, that is placed in that little box, and that little box has a limit. And when you reach that limit you will be gently invited to talk, why are you acting like this? Don't you know how to live in the fifth dimension? So go study, and you will be prepared. Now, if you continue to insist on filling that box, you will be kindly invited to go somewhere else. So learn to live unconditional love. I am Archangel Michael. I love you unconditionally. To me, there is no difference between any of you. Even those that, from your perspective, would not be worthy of my attention.